Hello, everyone.
Hi, everyone.
Welcome back to the Mood Booster podcast.
How are we doing?
This is episode 4.
Episode cuatro.
So we will be today reflecting on receiving compliments.
Mm-hmm.
This episode is a little bit of a different setting. We're actually in the New Forest for this one. We're actually by the beach.
Big up NF.
A little sunset podcast for you guys. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. So if there's some people walking around, some beach noises, maybe some wind,
Yep.
please excuse.
Should we do it now?
Give me back my bloody ice
Give
cream.
the people the episode. Sorry.
Okay.
That was all me.
Yeah, you start us off there and just throw me off.
Basically, today we're talking all about compliments and importantly how we receive compliments because it's not something that we naturally, either of us, are very good at doing.
Yeah.
But we have been, with this podcast releasing, actually been receiving quite a lot of compliments recently. So wanted to really unpack that and the process that we go through internally.
We sort of surround ourselves, or we sort of look at points like self-worth, self-beliefs or self-talk, internalizing versus externalizing compliments as well.
Yeah, we start with that, don't we?
We do start with that, so that's one of the main points which we actually start on.
Yeah.
But I think the overall arching theme is confidence and how it all leads back to who or how you see yourself really.
Yeah.
And your own self-talk.
So a bit of that, then we go on to image regulation, and then the whole bulk is around, like you say, the confidence and how our self-worth and confidence and what we mean by confidence, but how that then links to how we can then take in and process the compliments that we receive, basically.
Exactly that. We hope you guys enjoy it.
Yeah.
Let us know what you think. As always, hopefully we've not interrupted each other too much.
No. We're working on it.
We are
We
working
take your
on it.
feedback.
Thank you for the feedback, guys.
Some of us more than others.
Anyway, hope you guys enjoy the episode. See you guys later.
See you later.
Bye.
Hello.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the 4th episode of the Mood Booster podcast.
Número 4.
Now, we have had to fight some proverbial battles to get here today. We are very happy to be on this beach.
You're lucky to have us. This almost didn't happen.
Do you want to tell them the story? What happened?
You go. You tell the story.
I'll tell the first half.
Okay.
So it was a cold morning this morning. We're actually in the New Forest, by the way. If you guys can't tell, we're actually not in Marcus's bedroom, so shop. And basically our thought was that we wanted to record a podcast in the forest to get a nice tree layer there, be all sort of mystical and mysterious. So our plan was wake up at 6 a.m. this morning, go to the forest, set up camp and record the podcast about 7 a.m. The only issue was it was about 3 degrees, which we didn't plan for.
Nope.
So we go there, bitterly cold. One of our cables for our microphones had just stopped working. About an hour and a half later, after about 4 attempts of recording, we just called it.
Yeah.
We just chucked in the flag, didn't we?
Yeah.
Chucked in the towel.
Chucked in the towel.
We chucked in the flag.
We waved the flag, chucked in the towel.
We waved the white flag.
We did all of the analogies.
The podcast gods had beaten us, so we left feeling a little bit defeated this morning, didn't we?
We did, yeah. We were basically 4 attempts in, an hour and a half later, freezing cold. We were literally doing star jumps to try and warm up, and we just couldn't really talk because we were so focused on getting it, the microphones not freezing, us not freezing, and whatever. And I was just sitting there trying to form a sentence, and I was like, "Is Charlie fine? Do I just need to not just brave this and stop being pathetic about it?" And then the microphone went again. I was like, "Charlie, we've got to call it."
Yeah, you just said, "I'm not having a good time here. Let me just call it."
And here we are. Couldn't ask for a better backdrop.
So that's Bournemouth over there, right?
Okay, yeah,
it is Bournemouth. Jude's over there. My youngest brother Jude is at university in Bournemouth. Hi, Jude.
Hi, Jude. Before we talk about all of the other things from today and our weeks and things, what are we talking about today?
So, on today's episode, we'll be talking about or reflecting on receiving compliments.
Compliments, all about
why
how
do you
we
think
take
it's necessary?
Necessary and very topical for us, and that's what this podcast is for us, talking about things that are relevant to us at the time. We have been receiving a lot of compliments in the last couple of weeks based on this podcast predominantly.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much. We truly mean that. It just the absolute, we said it last week and the week prior, but the absolute glee that we get when we receive this feedback is just unmatched. But it's something that doesn't come, receiving a compliment doesn't necessarily come naturally for me, and I know that's something that
although I might put on this sort of confident exterior, sometimes I actually really struggle to take a genuine compliment. We can, I think, lean on a lot of the examples of when we're doing that. A little bit of context before we keep on going. If you can hear the ocean and you're on Spotify, if you can hear the ocean in the background, it's because we're by a beach. I know we said it there. So seagulls, ocean noises, and wind.
Seagulls,
Don't
there's
fall
a
asleep on
shark
us.
over there.
The
Great white, I
shark?
think it is.
Oh my
Yeah, I
word.
know. So if you
Look
hear
at that.
screaming, that's people swimming away from the shark.
Yeah, there's families
There are,
around.
yeah, families. So there'll
Sunset
be.
hour right now. Get yourself over to YouTube and watch us at golden hour.
Yeah, you don't want to miss out on this
You do
top
not.
quality content. But yeah, so that's the
Compliments.
context of all of the above, where
yeah.
we got to today. And I think we were just proud that we pushed on through and didn't get sulky about it. And
No.
I'm someone that gets I'm extremely impatient, as we know.
Yep.
And in that moment, speaking for myself, we work together as a team, and I could easily see that situation, an hour and a half, trying to figure that out, us just like snapping at each other, but not once. And I was like, that in itself is quite cool. That
I think I know this is very cringe, and I'm almost quoting Rocky here, but like it isn't the actual things that happen to you that define you, it's your reaction to them.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, watches Rocky 1, Rocky 2. Watches a Rocky film once and just starts quoting him. And it is. So we came away from that with these videos of us failing and think, hey, let's just make a compilation of us failing, trying to record.
Yeah. And in the grand scheme, it's not that deep, is it?
It's not that deep.
Not that
we'll wake up tomorrow and the sun will rise again.
It's most certainly not as deep as that thing out there. The
Big
sea.
blue. The sea. I love the ocean. I'm not
Isle
sure
of
if you
Wight
guys
just
know
behind us. I don't know if you can see. Isle of Wight.
Isle of Wight. So before we go into reflecting on receiving a compliment and what is ensued in that, how was your week, Marcus?
My week, Rooney. Gosh, let me think. I don't say gosh. Sorry, I don't know why I said gosh like that. I don't ever say that.
I don't think gosh is a swear word.
But,
I think
I think because I'm trying to not say anything like offensive. I say gosh like I'm a
Victorian child.
Please say one more.
Oh gosh.
Oh, golly gosh.
Fiddlesticks. It's not enough food.
Of sugar helps the medicine go down. So my week, I guess I'll start with Sunday was a pretty epic day.
Yeah, what did you do on Sunday again?
Second marathon in 6 weeks. Less than 6 weeks.
Pretty strong stuff.
Because I've got London Marathon coming up, so that'll be 3 in a month and a half. So this was the second one, Brighton Marathon. It was boiling hot, a glorious day. I was really nervous. If anyone's seen me on socials, or I don't know if I mentioned it in the episode last week, I was really nervous. I was doing it by myself, which I haven't trained for, and I'd been doing all of my runs recently with people like you at Rome.
Yep.
And it's just a whole different ball game when you're in your own mind for that long and have to only rely on yourself to get yourself through. Whereas when I'm doing it with someone, like when I was helping you at Rome, which I guess I was helping you, I had that role of like caring for someone. So your brain doesn't even go to how you're feeling because you're just looking after someone else. And selfishly, that helps me because I then don't have to worry about myself. Whereas at Brighton, I was just crapping my pants. It went really well. The first 30k, I was flying. I was like sorry for non-runners out there, but it was a 440 minute kilometer pace. Or
that is quick. If you don't know, that is a
and I was on
quick
for
pace.
Let's just say for context, if I finished at that time, it would have been a marathon in 3 hours and 20 minutes, I think. Anyway, ran into my friend Jack at around 31k. He was struggling somewhat, and I was like, F this, I'm gonna run with Jack. Let's run together and just sort that out. We had some walk breaks, ended up those walk breaks effed over my stomach, and I ended up in a Portaloo with 4k to go. Not in a
I had
good
some
way.
messages from you being like, I am not in a good way right now. You were in Struggle City, weren't you?
Strug City.
Saint Rug City.
Saint Ruggling. Anyway, we got it done, and I will truly say, and I want to talk about this when we've got a marathon episode and training episodes coming up.
We do.
I always give advice on like how to get through these things, and I fully felt like I was back to my first ever days running and literally really calling upon my own resilience, like fully in that last 4k. Every 100 meters I wanted to stop and walk. Every part of me wanted to walk because I was in so much pain and my stomach was not good. And every 100 meters was like, okay, one more 100 meters and then you can stop and walk. And I just fully was believing myself every time. But obviously some part of me knew that I wasn't actually going to stop. So then I got to like 2k left and I was like, okay, once you've got 1.5k left, then you can stop. And then I had 1.5k. I was like, okay, 200 more meters. And it just was going on forever, but I managed. And I was so proud that I didn't stop.
It's refreshing because you very much are a bit of a machine in running, and your content, I think, speaks about that. And I know you speak about how runs aren't always easy, but it's nice to hear that you don't always find a marathon easy, because I remember after the Rome marathon, the next day I couldn't walk. You were like jogging upstairs. I was like, what is this guy made of? And even when I was telling my family that you were doing Brighton, they were like, what the hell? Why is he doing another marathon again? And so it's really refreshing to hear that even someone like yourself who runs every day, you still have to fall back on those habits of 100 meters at a time. It's those little things which actually kept you going as well. It's refreshing to hear.
Well, for me, I think from my side of it, it's I get all the time like, oh, this must be easy for you now. God, this is like duck on the water on a duck's back or whatever.
Duck on the water.
Duck on the water's back. And I don't think it ever gets like a marathon is a marathon. And yes, you get more used to it and you don't have like the nerves of the novelty of it and those things, but it's still so hard. So yeah, that was fully an example of that on Sunday, and that was really good. And then have the post-marathon crash on Monday and Tuesday, just feeling like
the blues.
And my brain was just sort of on overdrive because, again, you might come to learn very quickly. I subscribe to evolutionary psychology quite a lot, and again, I won't go into it too much because we're talking about compliments today. But if you put your body through that, something so hardcore and like endurance based, your mind is, from an evolutionary theory or perspective, the idea is your mind is then going into like survival mode because it's like, we shouldn't be running for this long and there must be something going on, there must be a threat. So then all of the cortisol and all those things, so the next couple of days is just like you're wired but also like anxious and having all of those feelings. So I was dealing with that on Monday and Tuesday, feeling intensely like slightly anxious and all those things. Intensely anxious. And then this is Wednesday, we've worked here all day and we're in the New Forest and looking out at the sunset, doing what I love the most in the evening after a long day's work. So feeling great. And on that note, how was your week?
My week went to my first comedy show on the weekend.
Oh yeah, was it funny?
It was very funny. I went in, I feel nervous for the people doing the acts.
I get that.
I really resonate. So when they're coming on, I'm wanting them to do so well. I'm actually nervous for them.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, if they don't laugh. So I found myself in the beginning laughing at jokes I didn't find funny. Very quickly though, it stopped and they were actually really funny as well. I think just because it was of that sort of thing, if I go to see a play or anything, I feel really nervous just watching them. I don't know, because I used to do it back in GCSE, I think. I know what it feels like to be up on that stage in front of all those people.
Yeah.
So I resonate quite a lot with it. But went to the comedy show on Saturday for a friend's birthday. Loads of fun. Met Jude's girlfriend for the first time, which was lovely.
Nice.
And then Sunday we did like a belated Mother's Day, which was absolutely elite.
Happy Mother's Day 3 weeks later for all the mothers out there.
Brunch.
Nice.
My guilty pleasure is brunch.
It? Why is that guilty? There's nothing guilty about that.
It shouldn't be.
Guilty.
Yeah. No, we had a lovely brunch, to be fair. And then, came back.
Nice.
And basically been looking forward to this day for the whole week.
Yeah.
I think it's been quite a nice week. Not loads has happened.
No.
I think it's just been quite a stable week, which has also been nice though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lovely job.
I know I didn't speak nearly as much.
Question for you.
Please.
I wonder, I'd like to hear from maybe our listeners if this is, because I completely am the same as you. When I watch someone live, I'm partly more nervous than sitting in enjoyment of that performance because I'm like, what if they mess up or whatever, because I'd be embarrassed for them.
Yeah.
Is that because we're sort of empathetic people, or like I'm not saying other people don't care, but like, I don't know, or is that something that everyone experiences? I don't know, because I can only speak to my own experience.
If you don't know me, I'm a great person, right? So
Carry on.
Yeah.
Carry on.
No, so I think all jokes aside, I think,
Take the compliment.
No.
Take the compliment.
I wasn't able to sit in it. I was meaning that as a bit of a nibble anyway, but yeah. I think, some of it has to go with seeing something being very nerve-wracking, resonating with it, and feeling what they would be feeling.
Yeah.
Trying to put yourself in their shoes. I think that's empathy at its base on, isn't it? Is trying to put yourself in the other person's shoes, try and figure out how they're feeling.
Like actively laughing when you don't necessarily find something funny to support. So that's really kind, I think.
It is kind. I mean, what can I say?
Yeah.
I think,
But I don't know if that's, because I also would feel like I might do that, and I don't know if that's just something everyone would do, or...
I think comedy shows are a real...
Oh, yeah.
I think it was a real... it was a real... spectacle. I'm using the wrong word here. It was a real magnifying glass of that feeling. Like in a play, I wouldn't necessarily, clap or whatever it is, cry because I want to feel sad. For a comedy show, I know they bomb from what other people have said.
Yeah.
So I really didn't want it to bomb.
God, imagine that. Walking off the stage like that.
Have you seen It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia?
I have, but not all the episodes, so I probably won't pick
There's
up the reference.
such a funny episode where, this is probably boring if you're listening and you haven't seen it, where one of the main characters, Dee, tries to go onto a comedy show, and she has this thing where whenever she gets nervous, she retches or gags.
She's so funny.
She's hilarious. And so she goes on stage like, hey, what's the problem with airplane food? And someone in the audience is like, what? Lady, get off the stage.
Sorry, what's that? If you've got fear of being sick and then you just
Trigger warning, everyone. And then she's like, okay, everyone with the earphones, what are you, half human, half robot? It's just, I'm not doing it justice, but it is a brilliant little skit.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's comedy
funny.
shows.
Yeah. Well,
thanks for asking.
If you're a comedian, comic,
yep,
would you like being complimented on your jokes?
Yeah.
Segue fail.
Oh god, was that a segue?
Yeah, ripping around on our segue.
Oh god. Should we give each other a nice compliment? Should we give each other a nice compliment and see how it fits?
That's a great idea.
I love your jumper.
Thank you. I designed it and enjoyed it.
Enjoyed it. Whoa, what does that mean?
I don't know.
You enjoyed it.
I'm so good at taking compliments.
What the hell?
Let's try again. Something else.
Okay, from me to you.
Yeah.
Okay, taking compliments. Here we go.
Shall I go first?
Yeah, please. I've got nothing.
White noise. You are. Let's think about this now. Do I be serious or do I make a joke?
We got everyone listening. We got to leave.
Joke? Serious?
I don't know. It's up to you. I will follow.
Have
suit.
a great time when you.
I'll go first. You're very neat and tidy.
Thank you.
Don't be arrogant about it.
Don't agree, but
oh, there we go.
Actually, to be fair, I am.
Why didn't you agree with that compliment, huh?
Well, I just think about when I'm not, but I guess there's times when I am as well. So thank you. I appreciate that compliment.
No worries.
You are very conscientious and caring of other people's emotions.
Oh,
I know I just said that like 5 minutes ago, but that is a true quality.
Thank you very much.
That's something I admire and value in you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
My compliment's ass. Can I go again?
Well, keep them coming if you want.
Okay,
honestly.
buddy.
Stop.
I think you're very, very smart. I think you're incredibly smart, which is great. I think you're incredibly intelligent.
That's nice to hear.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I, for so long, didn't think I was, and still so many times don't think I am.
Yeah.
And in different contexts or different situations, beat myself up. Like the most stupid things as well. Like I'll be playing family quizzes with my family, and they'll know all the answers to all the questions, and I won't get a single one. And I just I'm sitting there sulking because I'm just so stupid. I don't know any of the answers.
You stupid Dobby.
But also at the same time, like you can't just fluke a PhD, and you can't fluke all of the achievements I have.
Yeah.
So I guess let's use those external sources of validation or reinforcement or information to remind myself that I am intelligent or smart. There's different ways of being smart, right? Yeah. So thank you.
Completely.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that segues us on.
Yeah.
Segue.
How
many times do we say segue? We should play a drinking game for those that drink. Every time we say segue,
you take a shot.
Yeah.
If you're driving, you're still involved.
I'll literally be on the floor.
It'd be awful.
God, now we have to put another segue on our Instagram carousel.
Not another one.
Oh gosh. Okay, golly. Right. So compliments.
Yes.
I think when we were speaking about this before, just for context, we don't have like a huge structure. We just, as always, want to just have a free flowing conversation. But what we did talk about when we were thinking about this episode, right, was confidence.
I think one of the central key themes at every point we spoke on, it came back to confidence and self-esteem or self-worth. That seemed to be, at least what we thought or felt within our own experiences, was quite a central topic.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. So do you want me to go reflect on that, or?
I think we can both begin. I think starting quite holistically for everyone listening, some reasons why low confidence might lead to, a simple rejecting of a compliment.
Yeah. Oh, well, I think what we should first say is that in this context, we are explicitly really talking about why we struggle with actually receiving compliments,
I think
right?
So, yeah.
And some of us are better than others at taking compliments, but generally, I think both of us in the last however long, me for a long time, but you, like you said at the beginning, aren't the best at taking compliments, and we really want to unpack how the confidence and, like you say, the self-esteem and all of those things relate to that, and therefore how that might link to sort of phenomena that we might, or understand, but then also how we have been, as speaking for myself, actively working on that over the specifically last year since I finished my PhD, and likewise for you, right? So when it comes to the confidence, I think ultimately, like, I guess in the briefest way, if you don't have that confidence yourself and you don't necessarily believe those things about yourself that someone is saying to you, I think that in itself is kind of challenging, right?
I completely agree. I think a lot of, or at least for my own self, confidence comes from true self-beliefs. Now, you can have this false sense of confidence with what you think you should be like, and that's all right. But your true self, what do you actually believe about yourself? When your head hits that pillow at night, what are you saying to yourself? What are your true beliefs about who you are? That actually reflects through your ability to take compliments, your self-esteem, your self-worth. And it's often really, I found in my own case, really tough to get to how you actually, what you believe about yourself. Because often with everything coming on, all the noise about what other people are saying, what your job says about you, what your school said about you, it's hard to try and find out who you are or who you think you are.
I think, importantly, confidence links to everything, right?
I think so.
Today we're talking about it in the context of receiving compliments or being able to take those compliments and internalize them. But I guess on a wider scale, we also know that confidence leads to, like, decisions you make in the workplace, how you set boundaries with people, how you respect your own space or your own autonomy, and all those things. That all comes back to, like, how you see yourself and how you see yourself and place yourself versus others, and whether you're putting yourself below others and see yourself to be lower than others, or whatever that is, right? And in this instance, the confidence is kind of, if you're being given that compliment socially, someone is giving that information to you that they think this about you, and that's their their subjective opinion of you. If you fundamentally are coming from a place of lacking confidence and therefore lacking self-esteem or lower self-esteem, you can immediately see why then that's inherently, like, challenging or would come up against or contradict what you believe about yourself. Someone's literally saying, I think you're funny, as a really basic example, I think you're funny, and you think I'm the least funny person in the world. That is not true. How are you then going to take that compliment and say thank you if you fundamentally just don't even believe that?
It's the weirdest thing, is sometimes it might not even because you don't believe it. Like for me recently, this was actually just before we went to the comedy club. The group of people that I was with, one of them asked, "Hey, so what have you been up to recently?" I hadn't seen them in years. I literally came back with, nothing much, just the usual. For why I didn't say anything that's gone on in my life, I don't know. Maybe that came from me not thinking it was worth saying. But then also another person chimed in and said, "Oh no, you're doing the podcast recently. That's so cool." I was like, it's nothing really. I don't think it's nothing. I'm the biggest fan of what we're doing. And for me, to hear me say it, I was like, what am I saying? It's not nothing. This is not nothing at all. It's one of my biggest passions right now. Like, let alone ever.
You're minimizing it, right?
I was minimizing it.
I do that so much. So that's a prime example. And just to share my experience with that as well. Like, people always, prime thing, you run a lot, you're amazing at running, and I'm always
your
like,
run club,
oh no, I'm just stupid, I run too much, like I've got too much. My default is I've got a too much gene and I can't switch off, and I just have to run.
Say it to everyone.
And literally, it's my default when someone says anything about why you're good at running, I just have to deflect or minimize and say, oh, it's not that much, there's better people.
But do you think that comes down to your self-beliefs, though?
There's so many different things I think it comes down to, and that's what we're here to
unpack.
We know, right?
Because I don't think, for myself at least, me minimizing it then was for my own self-beliefs, because I know for a fact I do not believe this is nothing.
Do you think then, if in that one example it's not a contradiction between your self-image or your self-belief and what someone is telling you, do you think some of that is to do with the image regulation idea, right? Am I remembering correctly?
Remind me of what that is.
I think it's image regulation that we were speaking about before. I could be getting the term wrong, but it's basically that the idea of this theory is that us as human beings, we care about how others see us, and we want people to see us a certain way, and therefore if we some people believe if we take a compliment, we're seen to be arrogant or we're seen to be too overconfident, and therefore you minimize compliments and you kind of reject them because it then gives you an image of humility and sort of, grace and all those things. So you're regulating, it's the image regulation, you're regulating how you're perceived by other people by saying, oh no, it's nothing, like, oh, this old thing, like you're not allowing people to see you as arrogant, because the idea of people seeing you as arrogant isn't possible. Whereas actually, and that, we can unpack that, whether that comes from like a societal thing or probably comes from all of the above, right?
Completely.
But actually I believe there's nothing wrong with saying thank you. I know it's really cool, isn't it? I'm really proud of it.
And I think it's really cool to witness someone do that as well.
Yeah.
I think it's powerful
Own
when
it.
you give a compliment and someone can sit in it. You're like, yeah, hell yeah,
Yeah.
that person's cool.
And I guess sorry, carry on.
No, go ahead. I was finished.
I guess that is up for like obviously subjective debate. Some people would argue, and there's cultures, like Japanese culture is very much to show humility and to be humble and we were reading research on it in the lead up to this, that is very much deflecting compliments and saying, oh no, thank you, or instead of saying thank you, it's just returning and giving one in return, as opposed to saying thank you and taking that in and absorbing that. So even from a cultural perspective, this is just our opinions.
Completely. I think the British culture is not very good at it either.
No.
I mean, we're known for apologizing for absolutely nothing.
Humble, no, it's okay.
You can't be seen to be being
stoic
arrogant
as well.
Stoic is a huge one.
Little emotion. And being proud is an emotion, right?
I think so. And it's a shame, because part of me now, reflecting back on that conversation, would have loved when that person said to me, yeah, you're doing that podcast, it's so cool. Because after we actually left as well, or after I left, they said something along the lines of, keep on doing what you're doing, you're absolutely smashing it. And I was like, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
So he clearly loved what I was doing, or what we're doing. And so part of me really wished that I could have gone back and be like, thanks, man. Yeah, it's going so well. I'm loving it.
Yeah.
But for some reason, of what you're just saying there, image regulation theory, I was like, nah, it's nothing. That whole thing.
Do you think that's what it might have been in that case for you?
I think so. I hadn't seen these people since I was very young, so I think a little bit of part of me also, maybe this is the empathy that we were talking about earlier, doesn't want to be seen reveling in my own glory, because it might take away from what other people are doing as well.
Okay.
And I need to unpack that a little bit more, but for a reason, I hadn't seen these people in a long time.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure how they were doing, and maybe this is me trying to manage other people too much. But I would have assumed that if I was very much like, oh, yeah, thanks, it's amazing, it's going so well, we're doing this, this and that. Because I know I've been on the other end when I'm not doing too well and someone else is not gloating, but very much reveling in their own glory.
Yeah.
It makes me think, oh, I'm not doing that.
It is tricky.
But you can't.
You can't let someone else's interpretation or expectation or reaction
limit your own.
To limit your own.
You can't.
Self-worth or belief in your self-worth or expression of. And of course, I think you're right. And there's times to be sensitive. If someone's going through, a bereavement, or they've just lost their job, you're not going to rock up and be like, oh, I've just got this promotion, this is amazing. And,
yeah, of course.
There's some like self-awareness there and those sorts of things.
Yeah.
But in general life conversations, if someone is just normal and they're okay, I completely see what you're saying, and I agree. I'm fully similar to that. But I again think there's worth challenging, right? It's like, if someone were to put you down for celebrating your successes because they weren't doing well, for me, I don't want to quote, well, Mel Robbins is the hot topic right now, and she's got the let them theory, which is hugely, number one bestseller and all these things. I do resonate with what she's saying, is like, you can just be in your truth, and as long as you're, being gracious and kind and empathetic and leading with your best intentions, if someone chooses to interpret that in a negative or adversarial way and sort of judge you for being happy for yourself, to me, that's a reflection of them.
Let them do that.
Let them do that. And it only is a projection of their sort of insecurities, because I've been in times in my life when I've been in horrible places internally, and not that someone necessarily knows or not, but I'm not perfect. I'm not sitting here on a pedestal saying I am, but I'm someone who I also know as a quality of myself, I champion other people so hard. I want people to succeed so hard, and I love that about myself.
It's great.
For all my flaws, I do know that is like something that I'm proud of in myself. I would love to see someone else succeed. Just because I'm not, it doesn't mean that they shouldn't.
Yeah.
So then if someone were to be like that in my success or resenting my success, I just think I do, and I have been trying to, and I'm not saying I do this all the time, but I'm trying to think, well, that's kind of a reflection on them. I'm not saying I'm not sitting here gloating, of course. I'm not being arrogant, but me saying thank you and saying this is amazing and I'm really proud of this is actually lovely. And if what's the saying? If someone makes you feel like you're gloating for being proud of yourself, you're in the wrong crowd or something. Like, you want to surround yourself with people
who champion you.
That champion you and make you feel good about yourself.
I completely agree. It's one of your best traits, or one of your better traits as well, is that the fact that you'll be in the middle of a run, you know, absolutely dying, and you'll be cheering on the runners next to you, which is nuts, which is absolutely baffling. But I think it's great, and I think it's exactly what you're saying. You want to surround yourself with people who fill up your cup, who don't drain, and whether that draining looks like not championing you, whatever that word is, championing you, champignon, whatever that word is. I think for me, surrounding myself with people who genuinely want the best, and it means that I can shine brighter as well.
100%.
It's exactly what we're talking about here. And now that doesn't mean that with those people on the other day, I didn't feel like I could shine my best. I just, for whatever reason we've just spoken about, didn't feel like I could completely revel in my own element.
For sure.
Now, I think part of that is just being in a new group of people, sort of gauging social structures as well.
Yeah. Well, you said it was something that you weren't thinking yourself. You didn't want to, if anyone were feeling any less than how you were feeling, you didn't want them to feel bad about themselves. And that's,
exactly.
Yeah. You've got to let people and know and trust that if you're surrounding yourself with the right people, that they will celebrate you even if they're not in their best time of their life.
A lot of the time people want to champion you as well, don't they? A lot of people often want you to say and speak about your success. This even goes back to last week's episode, or the second week's episode, sorry, the second episode where I was really struggling to, on the first take, talk about myself. Afterwards, we were talking and you just said, people want to hear about your stories. I remember when I was speaking to my brief housemate, Dima, and he was saying, just speak more about your own stories. People want to hear that sort of stuff. And it's true. Like, when someone gives you a compliment, it's usually because they mean it. Rarely will someone give you a compliment expecting you to be like, oh, no, it isn't anything. If someone's saying it, revel in it.
Yeah, for sure.
Or at least try to.
Yeah, definitely. Because it comes back to, like, when I'm someone that if I get a compliment or I've done something well, or even like I used to get a good grade in academia or whatever, I would always externalize the compliments and then internalize the negatives. So, like, to put that simply, if someone says, oh, you know, you look amazing, I would be like, oh, they're just trying to be polite. They don't truly mean that. Or
would that be externalizing it?
Well, it's like putting it on an external factor that's not actually something that's myself. Or let's not be superficial. Like, let's say, like, you know, you're a really amazing person and you're super kind and I really value that in you. I would think, oh, they're just, you know, I would say something in my mind like, oh, they're just being, you know, they like being kind to people and making them feel good about themselves, so they're just finding something to say about me. Like, that's not internalizing that compliment. That's not me absorbing it and taking it in. That's me bouncing it off and saying that's for some external factor. That's that person's qualities in this instance of them trying to make me feel good about myself, that actually they don't truly mean that. That's just them being kind themselves. Or putting a really simple example is if I'd get, like, which I did, I'd get like a distinction in my master's, you know, modules. Every time I was like, God, everyone's so lenient at marking here. They're really good markers. Like, it's really easy. And I truly believe that. I was like, these people are so lenient. And not the fact that I've worked hard and that I've done really well. I actually thought it's because of these external factors and these people being kind at marking, not me working hard and being clever. That's just a prime example of, you know, really externalizing and not taking those things in. So I guess it comes down to that as well.
Internalizing versus externalizing.
I can't remember how I got to that point, but
so just remind me again, for internalizing a compliment,
yeah,
that's what one should be aiming for, striving for.
Well,
or
I guess so. If someone's giving you a compliment, you want to take it in and believe them, and I guess internalizing is looking inward and seeing that is something that is attached to you and does have meaning within you, and that is because of something that you've done and not an external factor that isn't attributed to you.
And that can often take quite a lot of work to get to the point where because that again goes back to your own self-beliefs.
Confidence, self-worth.
If your own self-beliefs are not congruent with what they're saying, it'll not gel, I imagine.
Yeah, definitely.
If you don't believe what they're saying,
Mhm.
you can be like, oh, thanks so much. But if you don't actually believe it, it probably won't stick.
Yeah, for sure.
So then it begs the question of how does one try and knock down their negative self-beliefs and try to get...
Oh, there's so many.
I know that's a massive question to ask, but if that's what it takes to
I know.
get to the point of actually being able to internalize a compliment,
Yeah,
and it goes all around the issues of self-belief or self-worth at least.
yeah.
At least.
I think it's, well, as we speak to a lot, is firstly because there's a continued area of development, I think, and I don't know whether we truly ever get there, where I can sit here and be like, oh, I'm really good at taking compliments now because I'm fully there with my confidence and I'm confident in all areas of my life. But I don't think that we ever truly get to that sort of golden place up here, whatever.
Self-actualization.
Yeah, I don't...
Enlightenment.
I'm not sure myself. Anyway, I'm not there. So whether someone else is, I'm truly happy for you, but I'm not.
Good on you,
so
pal.
I think there's constant areas for development that we could, work on. I think there's more, tangible things that even if you in that moment aren't fully internalizing it, you could just challenge yourself and be in. I think there's part of this is being intentional and being aware that this is a process even happening in the first place.
Yeah.
So like if I even I'm speaking to this now, I'm acknowledging that I'm someone that's bad at taking compliments.
Yeah.
And that is something that I would like to be better at. In acknowledging that and being intentional with that, next time I receive a compliment, I'm actively working on saying, thank you, I appreciate that. Even if, okay, yes, I still don't believe that and I don't have the self-worth and that isn't, matched up with my own self-image. Just in that small act of taking that compliment, it potentially might be chipping away at that image because you're allowing, even though it feels superficial on a superficial level, I'm just saying thank you even though I don't believe it.
Yeah.
You might just be chipping away a little bit at how you are seeing yourself by just allowing that in a tiny bit,
So does it just go to try and be more present when someone, or at least try to be more present when someone gives you a compliment so you can actively think, okay, I'm going to say thank you and not try and argue back, or at least try and deflect.
Intentional, present, intentional with your actions.
Your
so
response.
because you're intentionally thinking, okay, I remember I want to be better at taking compliments or whatever, because ultimately someone is saying that and they're not just wasting their words, they truly mean that. So I should allow myself to just say thank you even if I don't fully believe it, and then eventually I might start to work on my confidence on a larger scale where actually it matches my self schemas and my self-esteem as opposed to being in conflict with them.
Here's one. How would you personally define confidence? You as Marcus.
Oh my God.
How would you... It's probably prudent that we do that. What is confidence to you, at least?
That's a hard question.
Thought I'd throw you that one there, pal. How's that, buddy boy?
Confidence is it's a belief system.
Yeah.
It starts from a belief system. I'm literally just thinking off the top of my head right now, so I have no idea whether this is, and I might not agree with myself once I've finished, but I've potentially someone's belief system about themselves. Yeah. So it's sort of, let's say, an autobiographical belief system.
Yeah.
That is aligned with assurance of oneself and acceptance and benevolence with oneself in who they are, how they present, their qualities, good and bad, and knowing in that belief system that they have worth, they have value, and that they are, someone who is of, I guess, like I already said, of value and ultimately worthwhile. And that belief system then lends itself to a behavioral process as well.
Yeah.
So confidence isn't only an internal belief system. I believe it is also a behavioral system, has a behavioral facet to it as well, where our beliefs about ourselves then lend to the behaviors that we enact based on those beliefs. I have no idea.
I think you're taking a pretty good stab at it. Yeah.
You? Buddy boy?
Well.
What's self-actualization, Charlie?
Enlightenment is this. I think for me, confidence, if I had to try and sum it up, I mean, I think you did a great job, by the way.
Thank you.
I think confidence is a byproduct of self-love. If I had to really try and summarize it short, I think confidence isn't something you try and obtain or give off. I think it's something that you do give off, but as a byproduct of truly loving yourself.
Yeah.
And breaking down all those negative self-beliefs, all the negative self-talk, getting to a point when whenever happens, you can sit down with yourself truly and love yourself for who you are.
Yeah.
Like, everyone is loved in this earth. Everyone is. There's...
No, carry
No,
on.
yeah. And I was about to say, when one can, and again, this is something really difficult to strive for, complete self-love. This is what we're saying, getting rid of all those negative self-beliefs, those negative self-talks. When you are happy with yourself, I think confidence is something that you exude once you reach that point. True confidence, at least.
Again, like, is that then where it becomes behavioural, when you exude it?
As compared to...
Well, the confidence, the self-love might be more like of an internal process, right? But then for me, exude is a verb that I associate with action.
It can even be in your demeanour or your words.
Yeah.
Is that behavioural still?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Well, I think then confidence is a lot more behavioural than other facets, I think.
Okay.
I think even if you were sat there with someone and you could very much sit in your own self, because you know yourself best, and, you know, the way you're talking, what you're talking about, your own self and your own passions, if you can
it's powerful,
truly...
isn't it?
It's powerful, but if you can truly sit there, love yourself for who you are, through all the noise, love yourself, I think you exude confidence, and that might be behavioural.
Yeah.
But I think it's a byproduct, if that answers your question.
Yeah. Well, for me, like, I believe it probably is a result of those internal beliefs.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
It's how you carry yourself based on your sense of confidence. Some of what you said was sort of talking about getting rid of those negative self-beliefs, but part of me, and aligned with the pillars of this podcast, part of me believes that confidence might come with actually acknowledging and sitting with and being okay with and loving of the flaws as well, and the things that...
Are the flaws the negative self-beliefs, though, or the flaws... Are you quoting flaws as like anxiety or depression or all those things?
No, I would say more things like for example, I don't believe I'm the most patient person. And there are times when patience, we know this, I'm not patient as a person. Oh my goodness, breaking news. You'll see it on the front of the Metro tomorrow morning.
Marcus not patient.
There are times when I think being patient is very beneficial, and there are times when it's been my downfall in a lot of occasions. Therefore, I think I'm not speaking negative of myself here, but I do think that being objective, it can be a negative, like it can be a bad thing,
can be considered
right?
a flaw. Yeah.
I think confidence can come with sitting and knowing that, and not beating myself up around that, but like holding power in that and saying that's part of me. And yes, I'm continually potentially working to be, developing on that area, but
would that not be self-love though? And then as a byproduct, the confidence is coming from it.
I don't know. Interesting.
Want to think about there,
it
buddy
is,
boy.
But I think getting back to compliments and taking compliments.
Yes.
For me, so much of my work in the last year has been enjoyable to unpack what confidence actually is, because it's been working on my own confidence and self-esteem, which has then allowed me to, in this very, like, what we were saying earlier, we kind of had a training ground over the last year, and then we're now like putting it to practice over the last couple of weeks, taking compliments, because I've really been proactively since like last summer, basically really working on improving my confidence and my self-worth, because I knew it wasn't the best and it could be better, and it still could always be better. And now I'm in a place where people are messaging me, on a weekly basis, like, oh, this is amazing, I'm so proud of you, you're doing brilliantly, this is amazing, whatever. It's sort of putting it to practice of, okay, I need to sit with that confidence and know my worth and value, because to be able to do that, I'm allowing myself to say thank you and actually process and internalize those compliments.
Practice what you preach.
Believe them.
I just said practice what you preach.
James and the Giant Peach.
Sorry, I cut you off there. Go ahead.
Well, feedback from our listeners, hey? Let's not cut each other off.
I've been caught again. If any of you listen there and thought, oh, he's cutting him off, I apologise.
We are aware of it.
We are aware. Apparently I've been interrupting Sally.
Both of us have been.
Yes.
Let's be kind to ourselves.
Let's be kind to ourselves. You very much interrupted me.
You
just cut me off.
Sorry about it, everyone.
Practice what you preach.
We're aware. I've been really trying to wait my turn. I think I interrupt because I forget what I'm about to say. So I'm like, if I don't say it now, I'm just going to forget, because my attention span's so short.
I think usually in our conversations we would interrupt, but we wouldn't notice it because we're very much in a conversation. And with this, you guys are now listening. Lucky you guys for listening.
To enjoy the conversation.
Hopefully you guys are loving it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. So I think some things I've been doing it's funny, I guess, as an example, going all the way back to how people sort of lift you up. Someone said something that could be interpreted as a compliment a few weeks ago, and I was like, oh, thank you. And this happened numerous times, but it reinforces, I think, from a social perspective of like how we're supposed to be modest, and there's a social expectation that we should push back and say, oh no, not me, not this old thing. Because I was like, oh, thank you. And the person was kind of taken aback. They're like, oh, okay then.
Oh yeah.
And they literally commented on it. And other people, like, I don't want to name names, but this has happened on numerous occasions.
Yeah.
And to the point where because I've been actively trying to say thank you instead of deflecting, I've noticed those people being like, oh, all right then.
All right then, pal.
Well, don't compliment me.
See what happens.
But also, that comes back to the people should champion you, right?
Yeah.
And if they're not, then maybe they're not the right people around.
I think, half of it's humour and culture.
Yes, of course.
And half of it's actually people who don't mean it.
Yeah.
I know for myself, because speaking on you, something that you've been working on is just your confidence as a whole.
Yeah.
For me, I used to have this schema when I was in my young 20s to be this probably more cocky than confident person.
Yeah.
Felt like I had to be this sort of, this person in the room that when someone said, that looks good, I'd be like, I know. Which is so,
What's changed?
So much. I think I used to have this thing when everyone would compliment me or whatever it was, I'd just be like, yeah, I know. Definitely it is. And that's my reaction, or that was my reaction.
It's like a humour, maybe a deflection.
I think it was maybe a bit of a humour. Whether I was actually internalising or not, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But my confidence has very much changed from being this sort of fake facade to just being more real.
Mm-hmm.
Now, with it being more real, my confidence, it is a little bit more tame.
Mm-hmm.
It's not as outspoken or loud, but it's more real.
Yeah.
It's me, whatever happens, I get to sit with myself at the end of the day and be like, I know myself.
Yeah.
And that's what matters most.
Yeah.
And that's what actually...
For sure.
Comes from getting rid of all those things things I thought I should be, or the ways I thought I should be.
Yeah.
And just being myself.
And it then comes back to the self-assurance, right? Knowing that truly within yourself to be able to sit with that.
I think so. Knowing that whoever you are right now is enough.
Yeah.
Because you're the only person experiencing your own life.
I want to give some credit to, and I not struggle with this, but because I believe, the work that we should do should also be in, we should work internally on ourselves,
of course,
and not rely on outside forces or variable factors to make us feel better or improve, whatever. But over the last year since finishing my PhD, I've had people around me and friends, importantly, who have truly been like my biggest champions.
Yeah.
And just championing and seeing so much in me that I could never sort of see in myself. It's so much to the point where I was like, there has to be like, I can't just be. There has to be like legitimacy here and whatever.
They have to be meaning it.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous you said that.
It's just so much, well, like truly like really invested in my success and wanting me to do well and all those things. I'm like, I must be worthwhile and I must have value for these people to really be investing in that. And therefore that is an external force that's really allowing me to be like, let me question all of this and see for that confidence, like, if they're seeing that, I should give that credence and I should really look into that and really challenge. Coupled with then, finishing the PhD, I think when we went to Rome, which we've mentioned, not Rome, Lake Garda, which we've mentioned several times now, seeing the impact that, again, sitting with that I have had by facilitating that on people is something that only was something that I had done and I had created that fully. And I guess objectively seeing that was allowing myself to sit with that success as well as the PhD and all those things. And it was kind of like a barrage of all of these external things coming. I was like, I can't keep deflecting these. I need to, realize that there is worth here.
I think so.
And coupled also with being in a transition phase, which obviously we spoke about last week, and seeing my lacking confidence and self-worth really stifle my decisions or even starting this podcast 6 months a year ago I would never have done this because I didn't have the confidence to be able to do so. And having worked on that for so actively and intentionally, here we are, and it's still nerve-wracking and all those things, but I'm truly feeling like the most confident I have ever been.
That's amazing.
And have really worked on challenging my self-beliefs and schemas to then to internalize all of that feedback and all of those external sources of validation to a point where now when someone gives me a compliment, I'm like, I kind of believe it and I agree with you, so thank you.
I love it, as you should.
Yeah.
I think something that's really funny, as you've begun to lean more into the confidence and inherently it's the self-worth or the self-beliefs as well, like what you're telling yourself. I think you can begin to realize that instead of people thinking you're arrogant or people just saying it for a certain reason, people are inspired when you're leading from the front. People, when you're setting an example and you're able to sit in your own confidence, people are inspired. How many people have, I know personally, people from university or school have messaged me and be like, you've inspired me, or you guys have collectively inspired me to get back out running and do this or do that.
Yeah.
So truly believing in ourselves and what we're doing, sitting in our own self-worth, doesn't dampen out other people's lights.
No.
It
comes back to
it really brings it up, and it brings back to the earlier point of me in that group, me actively dampening my own light to, think that maybe it would actively make someone shy away is the complete opposite. I should, as everyone should, be sitting confidently in their own self-worth because people get inspired by that.
Yeah.
There's a very common phrase is other candles don't lose anything from lighting another candle.
Yeah.
Something like
I know
that.
what you're saying.
Yeah, it's something along the lines of
But you can all shine at the same time.
You can all shine at the same time. That's basically what I'm trying to say is that you shining, you sitting in your self-worth, you being confident doesn't take away, it actually inspires people.
Yeah, which you wouldn't realise. And that is still something I'm like not fully comfortable with is I can sit here and be like, I can see the knock-on effect that you've had on people just from observing and being your friend and seeing, hearing about things in your life or whatever. But for myself, I'm still like, oh no, I don't know, and I know that that's not true, and but I'm still like battling with that in my mind of like, oh no, I don't know that I'm helping. Well,
maybe
people
a good mindset shift to shift it is because you care so much about other people. Quite a good hack to use is knowing the impact it will have on others in terms of inspiring them. Then from that, consciously shining brighter. Be like, I'm actually going to try to be more confident in myself because I know that this will help other people. If your whole goal is to help other people, or that's your main mission and that's what you love, lean into that. It doesn't mean you have to shy away. Know that what you shining bright is actually going to help them. Could help you take compliments more.
But classic, my immediate reaction to that is like some sort of savior complex, and I don't want to be arrogant thinking that I'm going to save everyone. And let's be more modest about it and not say, oh, this podcast's going to change. Like I'm like, let's just dampen it down. And
people have told us it is helping them verbatim. And again, sitting in that is something different. But again, it comes back to internalizing what people are saying. Yeah, it all comes back to, does it line up with our own self-beliefs?
So I think that part of the compliments I've been receiving, some of the others, you're extremely articulate, or you saying you're smart, I am able to now sit with that and believe that.
Yeah.
Some of the latest, the other compliments of sort of, you've inspired me so much, or you're impacting so many people you don't even realize. Those I say thank you, and I am like gracious with that, but I am still a little bit like, I'm getting a journey. There for sure.
It's a journey. As long as one day, every day you can do, because as we say with everything, do the little steps and the bigger things look after themselves. It's not the highs and lows in life, it's the in-between parts. Yeah. If every day you can take one compliment at a time and be like, thank you, not rebuttal it, not say anything back, maybe those little things, those little knock-on effects are actually what's going to lead over to a more healthy self-dialogue or internal dialogue, sorry.
Yeah.
Who knows?
I think I would agree. But the compliments in themselves are wonderful.
They are.
I just feel like we don't give them enough. And
something that I want to do from that, I think.
You're good at giving compliments.
You think?
Especially to strangers.
I was about to say I want to give more compliments to more strangers.
Whenever I, like in a park or whatever, not in a creepy way, but you're always complimenting people.
Nice shoes. Do you think?
I got rinsed once. It was at a bottomless brunch. But I was thinking this. I was like, we human beings, we don't give enough compliments. It's so embarrassing. We don't give enough compliments. We were at a bottomless brunch, so let's give myself that. And this waiter or waitress, I think she was a waitress, came up and was just serving us the whole time. And a couple of glasses in, I was like, sorry, can I just say? And in my mind, psyching myself up, being like, no, we don't give enough. I'm thinking it, so I should say it. It's like, you've got really nice teeth.
Oh, God.
And everyone around me were like, what the hell did you just say? Sorry, other religions are available. What the flip did you just say?
What, the afterlife? What, the afterlife?
What the flip did you just say? And I was like, I have no idea.
You have nice teeth.
I know.
Oh my word.
And because then
that's
it became a
quite a
joke,
nice
because then
compliment.
she
though.
was like laughing because they were ripping into me, and it was
that's
just a whole
brilliant.
thing.
But have you ever had it where someone walks up to you randomly and says,
someone complimented me on my teeth, and I was like, thank you, I really like my
random?
teeth. Yes, I wore braces. I was in pain for so long.
I had to grind for this view.
Well, it's one
No
of the
pun
only things I like
intended.
about my face. So.
Oh, don't beat yourself up.
Talking about confidence.
There you go. Take it back.
No.
My mum said that you're a handsome boy.
Thank you, Tracy.
My mum said that you're a handsome guy.
I appreciate that,
yeah,
Tracy.
there you go.
Thank you.
It was in very much a platonic way, so don't get any ideas.
Thanks, Tracy.
Don't
All the same.
Don't get any. Whoa, that's my mum, man. Voice cracked on the podcast.
That's most certainly not the first time.
Oh,
Definitely
it's
not the
bound
last
to
time.
happen at some point. Give it a little voice
It's
crack.
happening every episode, my guy.
Has it, frick? It has not happened once. That's the first voice crack I've done. I did it again. What am I doing? This is your
Hi,
captain
guys.
speaking.
Welcome back to the
This is
podcast.
your captain speaking. We're flying from EasyJet today. I'm just gonna do a pilot's voice the rest of the episode.
But
Two
yeah,
voice cracks in 2 minutes. What am I doing?
I think we intended to speak about compliments, and we
Yeah.
are speaking about them. A lot of that was to do with confidence, but I just think that it's so interlinked. We'd be remiss not to heavily focus on why confidence is so important when thinking about working on taking compliments.
Completely.
Because for me, the reason I'm bad at taking them is because I don't internalize them, because they challenge my self-beliefs, which ultimately is a lack in confidence, right?
Yeah.
And therefore,
That's the self-verification theory, isn't it?
Self-verification. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, did we mention that?
I don't know.
Self-verification theory. I guess this is what we've been speaking about this whole time, really. But self-verification is you have a self-belief about yourself. Obviously, that was very poor English. You have a belief about yourself, and you have your schemas about yourself and information that you understand and know about yourself. You, as a human being, look for and seek information that validates and verifies that information that you believe about yourself, because that's comforting, that's consistent, and that is what we know. Therefore, according to the self-verification theory, when we receive a compliment, if we have low self-esteem and low self-schemas and think we're ugly, not funny, not caring, whatever.
Short,
listing
things for you.
Short, ugly, not funny, all of the above. Dumb.
Freaking dumb.
Uninspiring. Don't start a podcast,
really
whatever you
small
do.
ears, mate.
If you believe all those things about yourself,
yeah,
and then someone gives you information, if you receive information that challenges that, according to the self-verification theory, that challenges that schema and is incongruent with what we know about ourselves, and therefore is uncomfortable. We feel and sit in discomfort in receiving that compliment, and therefore we want to reject it and push it away because it challenges what we know to be true about ourselves and inconsistent with our reality.
Yeah.
That is the self-verification theory, and so much of what we've been speaking about,
isn't it?
Yeah, for sure.
Wow.
And why it's important to be more gracious to oneself and
be
allow
kind to yourself. I think it's a message everyone should hear: is be kind to yourself.
Yeah.
Love yourself for who you are.
I just think it's so important in so many areas of your life. Like, I'd seen the way I'd move at work, like completely dominated by my confidence or lack thereof.
Yeah.
You know, starting an email with, "Oh, I just want to say this," or "Can I just do this," or whatever. No, there's no just about it. Don't minimize your request. Like, just ask for the thing. You don't need to say just and minimize what you're requesting.
Just is one of the most. So I did a sales training session recently before marathon.
Sorry.
It's a bit peak, but they call it weasel language.
Okay.
If you're in sales and you say, "I just wanted to quickly take your time," why just?
Yeah.
Sit in your own confidence. Say, "I wanted to speak with you.
Yeah.
Let me speak to you. I just wanted to quickly. Just this, just that." Drop the word "just."
And for me, I'd always attribute that confidence with arrogance, and I still am really working on unpacking that and unpicking those two things, because you can be confident and obviously not arrogant.
Yeah.
And like a colleague asked me yesterday, "Do you enjoy teaching?" And I went, "Yeah, I do enjoy it, and I think I'm good at it as well." And
nice.
I was like, "This is really weird." I was like, "That's not arrogant to say." And she asked me, and she was like, "That's amazing," and it was really lovely. She supported that. And I was like, "That's amazing. Why do you think you're good?" And I was able to then speak about it. And again, I wouldn't have been able to say that 6 months ago.
How did it make you feel when you were talking good to yourself?
I guess, like, without sounding weird, like powerful in myself, like just knowing my abilities, and if I have those abilities, why would I diminish those?
It comes back to affirmations, isn't it? It's the same thing. Now that's on a different level, but it's if you can speak healthily about yourself. Now whether you need to speak it into a mirror 3 times and then do a little spin or something.
Mel Robbins.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is that what she says?
Yeah.
Say it into a mirror.
She says to improve your self-confidence every morning, speak into the mirror. And it sounds cuckoo, it sounds weird, but I'm telling you, speak into the mirror every single morning, giving yourself affirmations.
Really?
Yeah, it's in her best-selling book, Let Them Theory.
Other books are available.
Yeah, other books are available.
Oh. So,
anyway,
affirmations. Telling yourself these good things that you want to hear.
It
Even
all-
if you don't believe them to start, say it. It comes back to the little things that we were saying.
Compliment yourself, basically.
Compliment yourself. I want everyone right now, including us two.
Yeah. In the Spotify comments?
In the Spotify comments, in the YouTube comments, even if you write it down.
Instagram.
Say it loud. I want everyone to try and say one good thing about themselves. I'm going to go first. I want everyone to do it. We've got some listeners behind the camera as well.
We've got a live audience.
I want you two both. I can see you. Think it or say it to each other. I want everyone to say a good thing about themselves right now.
You go first.
Oh, God.
The chase.
I think... this is difficult. I think I'm very funny and kind.
Two.
I'm very funny and kind.
I'm joking.
Yeah.
They're very true. Both of them are
I'm going to sit with that. I'm very, very funny and kind.
Nice.
I put two verys in there in case you didn't hear.
I'm an extremely empathetic person.
There you go.
And I value that in myself.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
It was wonderful.
If you didn't say it, pause and say it now.
I think they are two nice little mood boosts as well, which I think might lead us on nicely to our weekly mood boost.
So. I think that was a nice
sunset.
unpacking, wasn't it? The sun is setting. We don't have long left of light.
No,
I think
I want to go first.
Please.
I was trawling through our many YouTube comments and saw one from Felix.
My younger brother Felix, the legend himself.
A testament to our weekly mood boost not needing to be groundbreaking and life-changing, and it might have been for Felix, which is lovely, but it's not, the biggest getting married or whatever. Felix this week was boosted and appreciated the sun being out all week, and that made him happy. And I thought, thank you for sharing that, Felix. That was lovely to hear. So that was Felix's mood boost.
He takes after me. He's a little sun bug. He is.
Is he a sun bug?
He loves it.
Very nice.
He absolutely loves
Lovely
it.
job, Felix.
My mood boost. My friend Dima invited me to a board game night.
Nice.
That made my day. When I saw that message, I thought it was super cool.
Lovely.
All of his home friends, he had his friends from home or from university. I know I lived with him for 2-3 weeks and we are good friends, but it just warmed my heart that he invited me there.
Very nice.
To spend a night with his own friendship group. I think such a act of kindness is inviting someone else into your own group, like you have as well. So thank you. I think it just boosted my week. It was just that act in itself. It was a lovely night itself.
Yeah.
But just the act of saying, hey, have a night with my friends. Do you want to come join?
Nice.
That was great.
Lovely.
So that boosted my mood.
Lovely job. Okay, well, there's two lovely little mood boosts there.
Yeah, definitely.
Any sort of summary points or anything that we want to sort of speak to?
Just be kind to yourself.
I think taking compliments, for me, I think even if you're still working on the confidence side of it, I think for ages I was just intentionally saying thank you and allowing myself to, like you say, intentionally observe that compliment and thank you. I appreciate that. Whether I believe that or not, that's a different story and I can continue to work on that. But in that moment, in me saying thank you and allowing that in, even if I don't in that moment fully internalize that, it's chipping away at those beliefs because I'm on some level, whether it's subliminally, I'm accepting it.
Yeah.
And then continually, confidence as a whole, like we say, do we ever truly get there? And it's something that needs continued development and work for myself anyway.
For myself as well.
But in being able to sit with that and know your worth and have, know your self value and all of those things, I think it does allow you to absorb those more.
Completely agree. I think
it's not a
one big
fix.
thing. It's tiny little steps, isn't it? It's chipping away at the block. I think it's just if you can sit with try and understand your own self beliefs, what you're actually saying to yourself, and try and just pull that apart. Yeah.
I just think also, if someone's telling you something, they're not wasting their breath to say that.
Words hold power, and let them hold power.
They do.
Let the words being spoken hold power. Trust that someone's saying it for that good reason.
Yeah.
It's lovely.
For sure.
I think trust that.
It is lovely. And you are very funny and kind.
You are a very empathetic person.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay. well, is that us done, do you think?
I think that was a lovely episode.
Thank you so much
Lovely
for listening to episode 4. We beat the odds, even though we said...
We did. The temperature has once again gone down.
Yeah.
Can you feel it?
My hands are in my pockets.
Yeah.
At least yours aren't on your Johnson, like episode 1.
The biggest bit of feedback that we got from episode 1, why is Charlie holding his Johnson for the entire episode, is what everyone said. Yeah, it was... I'm not getting involved.
Yeah, just don't get
I
involved.
wasn't. I want to really say I wasn't. It was my leg, you filthy perverts. Regardless, though.
It was freezing, to be fair to him. But yeah, we beat the odds. We beat episode 3, the episode 3 curse.
We
so
did.
We are in the
we're
minority.
so up.
Yeah, we're in the minority of podcasts that
We
get
are.
through 3 episodes.
We're a minority.
You're stuck with us, as we said last week.
You're grateful to be here, and you know it.
Yep.
Thank you everyone for joining, and we will see you on next week's episode.
It's ASMR time.
Have a great week, everyone.
Thanks for listening.